Good thing I did everybody work, huh?
Come on, everybody work.
Well,
Everybody
my
work. What you
let
say?
me find me a
I be ready
thing.
for everybody's shot. Good evening,
Hey,
everybody. Good evening, family, and welcome back to the Roundtable Talk Show on the Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. I'm your host, Christopher Jones, and as you know, it's Tuesday. Yes, indeed, it is Tuesday, and we are here upon you for yet again another episode of the Roundtable Talk. Tonight's episode is called "The Cost of Being Wronged." Who gets compensated, who gets ignored, and who gets rich deciding the difference. And let me kill the one lie that a lot of people try to come up with, especially around topics of this nature. This episode is not about Black people being uh, asked to be put in position to receive something first. We're not begging. So I just definitely want y'all to know that. And nobody at this table is talking about asking America for sympathy. Nobody at this table is asking permission to name harm. Nobody at this table, I'm quite sure, is asking America to suddenly grow a conscience and act brand new like it does not know what it already did and is continuing to do. So, um, for those that may be tenderhearted about some of the things that may be said tonight, this episode is an audit, if you will, a code audit, a forensic audit, even. Let's even look to see if we can find some morale here and do a moral audit because there's something strange and not so strange happening in this country. When banks fail, money appears, right? When corporations fail, money appears. When industries collapse, money appears. When certain allies need help, money appears. Um, when politically connected people claim injury by their government, money appears. And of course, when certain victims recognize systems get created, funds get established, claims get processed, checks get cut, agencies get built or demolished, special masters, even if you will, get appointed, or let's say lords under the wannabe king. But when black communities can point to stolen labor, stolen land, stolen wealth, discriminatory lending, segregation, redlining, forced integration without repair, displacement, environmental poisoning, and racism, over policing, surveillance, voter suppression, and schools and neighborhoods going underfunded for generations. Suddenly, America gets patient. All of a sudden, more research is needed, more commissions, hearings, language, time, more national conversations. And tonight, I want to ask this one particular question plain: who taught America that some injuries deserve payment while other injuries deserve patience? Because patience has become America's favorite payment plan for black people. And that's ironic because we've been patient for a long time. And patience never occurs interest. Let me say that again. Patience has become America's favorite payment plan for black people. And patience never occurs interest or accrues interest. That's it right there. So tonight is not about, the hype of reparations, Senate bills, congressional bills. It's not about that. Tonight is about the marketplace of harm, especially when engaged in Black communities. Who sets the price tag on suffering? Uh, which wounds become compensatable, if you will. um, who becomes political? Which wounds become academic? Which ones become campaign material? Because as I know, they use it. Who decides which wounds get studied until the people who suffered them are dead? And of course, who gets paid to manage the conversation while the community keeps waiting? Because some people don't just want injustices solved. They want injustice, especially toward a Black population, managed. Consultants eat off of it. Politicians eat off of it. Um, academics publish off of it. Think tanks mold around it. Look at the people that's in office currently. Some of them studied the best Black people they possibly could, and some of the worst Black communities they thought they knew. Media, debates it and positively or negatively exploits it. Organizations fundraise from it, and communities keep living in it or living with it. That's the ugly part. Some people profit more from managing injustice than ending it, period. Just like condoning, you to take a medication that gives you another ailment so I could continue to get paid. So tonight, you already know we're gonna do 3 shots. Dr. Campbell, I'm gonna do some chases with these shots though. Um, but round one, the liqueur we're having, if you will, the
Grand Marnier,
round, right, right.
liqueur. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Round one shot is who decides what hurts us or what hurts. Round two is the business of waiting. Round three or shot three is what is justice worth? Before we get that family that's watching and listening, I want you to like, share, and subscribe wherever you are. Invite your individual family members to this table. I'm expected to keep it extremely clean. Um, but I definitely want you to know that we welcome you. But answer this before we start. When America says we recognize the harm but refuses to meaningfully repair it, is that justice or public relations? Let's work. Uh, first up is my big sister, Dr. Catherine Campbell. Say good evening to the people.
Good evening, people.
Yes, indeed. That is the entrepreneur, beautician. You understand me? Masseuse, even if you will. She cuts through emotional fog and hears what people are really saying underneath polite language. Sis, tonight, I definitely need that clarity because this country loves to dress or cosplay delay up as compassion and procedure up as justice. You already know how they do.
Cosplay, lipstick on a pig, you mean?
Now, dirt biking on the front lawn.
Mm.
Whoa, welcome to the table, big sis. Of course, you know my big brother Perry Busby. He will definitely be tipping in. He is the writer, analyst, receipt puller, pattern tracker. Perry follows the money, the timeline, the settlement. the legislation, the commission, and the study they keep talking about, along with the payout and who's left out after everybody gets paid. Raise your hand. So yeah, we're gonna wait for him to tip in. And for my little brother, we wish him safe travels. Dustin Harris, he is the veteran, straight shooter, ground level truth thinker. Dustin brings it back to the people who do not sit in complacency or in policy rooms, but live under their decisions. Tonight, again, I ask y'all pray for him and his family and traveling grace. And if you definitely want to be a co-host on the show with us, make sure you reach out to our platform host, Tony Renfro, and you could watch him on any given Sunday at 7 p.m. on the Knowledge is Power podcast live. Again, tonight is not about begging. Tonight is about valuation. Who gets compensated, who gets ignored, and who gets rich, deciding the difference. So that's what we're gonna be digging in today. Round one starts with the uncomfortable question: who decide what hurts? Because America does not treat all harm the same. Some pain become national emergency. Some pain becomes compensated funds. Some pain becomes settlement, even a memorial, or a federal program. Some become, law in favor of an injustice imposed on a particular somebody. And then sometimes it becomes a study. That is the insult that I want to definitely dig in, because not every injury gets denied. Some injuries get processed quickly because the injured party,
Huh?
has political leverage or legal leverage, economic leverage, media leverage, donor leverage, or public sympathy because of the narrative that was painted. And so, black harm, though, on the other hand, we see black harm gets
Bring it back.
interrogated like it's suspicious. You know, prove slavery mattered. Prove segregation hurt or harm somebody. Prove redlining. Prove stolen land, discriminatory lending. Prove all this. School underfunded. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it, Negroes. Prove it. And after all the proof that we give them, the answer then still is, well, well, let's study it. That is why tonight matters, y'all, because proof alone never determines injustice in America. Evidence matters, yes.
Look at the
100%,
barbecue.
especially in the court of law. Especially in the court of law. Evidence with power gets paid. That's the difference. America has paid harms before.
Yes.
Japanese American incarceration was recognized through redress, which is how some of them become business owners in our community. In our community, not other affluent white communities. In our community, the 911 9/11 victim compensation fund created for a federal structure for payment of 9/11 victims and their families. Tuskegee produced a settlement after the government's medical abuse of black men was exposed. After it was exposed, way after. Again, many of the people that were affected and infected had died. Rosewood produced compensation even after racial violence destroyed a black community. After. Mind you, the destruction of that community had a precursor. Get out my face. Banks and financial institutions get extraordinary federal rescue when the system shook, especially the bubble bus that they put a whole bunch of people in for generations. So Don't tell me America does not know how to assign or realign value to harm. It knows. The question is, whose harm gets valued? There we go. Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot? Look who tipped in.
Great
Barry White,
segue.
little
Yeah.
brother.
Everybody left.
Barry White, little brother.
Hello, hello.
What's going on, big bro? We just not pulling up the shots, man. You came in right on time.
Oh man, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Take your time, man. Take your time. Dr. Campbell, you ready
Yeah.
for your shot?
So ready. I thought I was gonna be punch drunk tonight, but I got somebody to share the load with me. Come on.
Yes,
All
indeed.
right.
First shot, Dr. Campbell. Why do some forms of suffering become national emergencies while other forms become academic discussions?
Well, it's because
Dissertations, if you will.
some
My bad. Theses. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. Go
some
ahead and take your
suffering
shot, Queen.
turns. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Some suffering gets turned into a crisis because it threatens the economy, public order, or a specific voting bloc. Think about pandemics or opioid overdoses.
Mm-hmm.
Other suffering, like chronic poverty or workplace burnout, gets labeled complex or systemic. So it ends up in policy papers or
Mm-hmm.
sociology classes instead of on the nightly news. Basically, if the pain hits the people with power fast and hard, it's an emergency. If it's slow and familiar or affects marginalized groups quietly, it's a discussion.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's why.
Correct. And like I said, correct. One more time. That's the cut right there. Some suffering becomes, like you said, an emergency because the people that's harmed are connected to alleged power, right? Other
Or a lot of
suffering
money is involved.
becomes
It hits the economy.
right, right. Other sufferings become a discussion because the people harmed are expected to wait or hold out or they're resilient. Um, we're coming up on another anniversary for Rita and Katrina survivors. And the reason I looped them together is because we were both displaced after helping trying to help each other. Other
Exactly.
sufferings, like I said, becomes people harm and expected to either wait it out, you're gonna survive. That's the difference. When harm threatens market, like you said, Dr. Campbell, urgency shows up. When it threatens banks, urgency shows up. When it threatens political protected people, urgency shows up. Oh, we don't condone political violence, but y'all didn't say much for years after some racial violence happened, especially to an individual here in Texas, to where you had to create law like the James Burr Act. Make that make sense when you already saw these precursors in your society or in our society already. I mean, when harm threatens this country's alleged sugar-coated image, like Dr. Campbell said at the beginning of it, lipstick on a pig image, you know, urgency shows up. But when harm has been absorbed by Black communities for generations, America suddenly becomes philosophical. Man, get out my face. Don't play in my face. Now it want nuance, Dr. Campbell. Now it want budget caution, period. We got to be budget cautious about who and how we gonna pay the people. It wants more data. It wants unity. It wants to know. It wants to know how everybody feels about paying out to the Negro or the Negroid. Because the question for me is not simply who was harmed, Dr. Campbell. It comes to the question whose harm makes power uncomfortable enough to act. Because black pain has never was never to been made familiar. I just want people to know you still our culture, you still our vibe, you still our everything, with the exception of our pain. You exploit it for positive gain. And once pain becomes familiar, people stop treating it like an emergency. That is why we have to make the familiar pain politically unacceptable again, because we've been we've been exploited for negative gains on every front. Perry, you ready for your shot?
I'm ready.
Dr. Campbell, thanks for that response, man. I see why you say you did your homework.
You're welcome.
Oh
My
man.
pleasure.
Perry, what does America's compensation history reveal about who actually has political leverage in this country?
As Dr. Campbell pointed out, and as you said in your intro, um, the ones who have the leverage are the ones who
You want some bread?
uh, we believe to be too essential to America as a thriving republic.
Mm,
That's why we have, as you said, the too big to fail. We saw that with the railroads. At one point, most people don't understand the railroads were building so fast that one senator said we got railroads from nowhere going to nowhere. We saw it with Wall Street
right.
and the banking industry as far back as the 20s. But as America's history also shows that it is woefully ignorant of who truly holds the purse strings and the vitality of this country. We saw we saw with Kennedy in the 60s that America put forth an unlimited checkbook to make sure that it got to the moon before Russia, because that's truly what it was about. And so we were in this race for space, and no one stopped to ask. We're still paying for this illusion uh, of what we call America and its exceptionalism. We still paying for that moniker that that isn't worth a t-shirt that is printed on. In fact, the t-shirts
Mm,
costing more than a moniker because we can't even afford to produce t-shirts here. Our t-shirts come
From
from
China.
overseas.
yeah.
We can go back. We can go back to COVID. T-shirts were a premium during COVID because the supply chains had shut down,
Yes, sir.
and so we forget that yeah, the leverage comes from those who are connected to the political bosses and the political bosses who are so naive to believe that connection will bring forth some longevity. And now we're seeing, I truly don't know what America has in plan with this new generation who is opting out of the labor pool
Mm.
in mass numbers. So we're going to see how that history plays out. And Chris, you even before America's formation, we saw that Europeans did not understand the true value of those who they employ to help them in their journey.
Exactly.
So we'll see
Exactly.
again.
Man.
So the bottom
Um,
line is, if the pain only hurts you, then you wait. But if your pain can hurt them, then you get paid.
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the receipts show.
That's what
Um,
they
it,
yeah.
it's especially to me, it shows that compensation is not impossible.
No.
That's the first thing. Uh, you told us that. Uh, Especially America has, knowing that America has compensated before. It has created funds, right? It has, like
Mhm.
I said earlier, passed laws. It settled cases,
Even for
bailed
riot
out
shields.
institutions. Yeah, paid claims. Wow. Allegedly through those it calculated losses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through those. Um, Even appointed administrators to be in space for whatever purpose. And like you said, the purse strings around NASA was, I mean, non-existent. It was the expense of whatever we created, failed at, and created and failed at, and attempted and failed at until we, I guess, fulfilled a deliverable. I mean, so yeah, yeah, that's the lesson. That's the lesson. We compensation history reveals that evidence matters, but leverage, especially leverage in our favor, this you know, it obviously don't even matter.
Well, and I think we also have to understand that baked into that is also the idea that the people don't have leverage. And so, so when I looked at that question, my first thought went to those who had leverage. But it's truly the people who have leverage. I mean, it's been the people's inability to respond, I think, in a unified manner to their power structure. I mean, as
Mm,
best we see it, uh, and I can't say I've seen it since then the Montgomery bus boycott.
oh
Not
wow.
where we the people truly turn a powerful entity around, because it was much more than a local transportation system.
Hmm.
I mean, we understood how deeply the the municipal transportation was embedded into the power structure.
Hmm.
And when we began to leverage the housewives of power brokers and the help of power brokers, of those who the
Hmm.
power brokers had around them understood that that's where we began to find the leverage. And so sometimes that leverage has we somehow sometimes misused our leverage by trying to go toe to toe
Yeah, yeah,
when our
yeah,
leverage sometimes has been seen in our ingenuity to expose, and I would dare say undermine. I mean,
especially,
right. Yeah.
especially.
And I think one of the most effective ways to undermine is to really let them go forward sometimes with their crazy decision, as we're seeing now with MAGA. If you let them go with it, it craters on themselves. I mean, we see it, you know, I'll wait till later, but we see it even in our local politics
Yeah,
and and our leaders' inability to understand that the lack of a succession plan or that succession plans doesn't start and stop with their seat.
yeah. Hey, so we gonna probably go in on Dustin shot. Um, in his in his absence on the at the table today. Again, keep him lifted for safe travels, y'all. Dustin's shot on this evening is if two groups can prove harm, if two groups can prove harm, but only one receives action, what evidence ever the deciding factor? What was evidence ever the deciding factor? Was
Probably not.
evidence okay? I
Probably
agree.
not. Evidence is just the excuse they use after they've already chosen sides. If the right group is hurting, a tweet gets action. If the wrong
Mm,
group is hurting, 1,000 studies gets a committee. The
mm,
wrong decider was never the data. It was whose pain cost them votes, money, or peace. Plain and
mm.
simple.
Plain and simple. I would say, Pierre, you gonna take some of that shot? You want some of that?
Now I'm away. I got another one.
um, I like you said, Dr. Campbell. No, not not by itself. And in the manner of Dustin, the baby is ugly, and the evidence is proven that your baby is ugly. I mean, the door is
This is
open,
in the foot.
letting you know that your baby is open. Your baby is ugly. But what I want us to know is that power doesn't decide whether anybody walks through that particular door to find out that your baby is ugly. That's what people need to understand, especially within our community. We need to understand we can have proof and still get ignored.
Mm-hmm.
We can have testimony and still get delayed. We can have it in writing, y'all, in archives, even. The newspaper wrote about it. It is even precedented law. How about it? And still get dismissed. You can have records, maps, deeds, law, court cases, bloodlines, photographs, umbilical cords, teeth, marrow, hair.
You can
The
have the
government,
victim. You can have the perpetrator on admission.
yes, yes. No evidence alone was never the deciding factor. I just want y'all to know, ever. If evidence
Ever.
alone decided justice for black people, black America would not still be waiting on repair for
Waiting for
things a
reparation.
country All right, admitted already ago. That's the insult. They don't need no more proof that harm happened. They need a political reason to stop benefiting from the delay. That's it. That's all. The guest shot. Who currently controls the national conversation about what injuries deserve repair? Chat, that's for y'all, that's for the table, that's for everybody in your household. Who currently controls the national conversation about what injuries deserve repair? And we have to understand that some of these injuries that we're talking about have internal effects at your house right now, today. Who gonna have it?
So I'll start with social media algorithms that's in your
Oh,
house.
oh,
the, t-
oh.
the TV news anchors and whoever's paying for the loudest ads. Plus a handful of politicians who know that naming an emergency is cheaper than actually fixing it. Regular
Mm,
people only get a turn when their pain goes viral or when it
correct,
starts blocking traffic.
correct. Absolutely correct. You absolutely correct. The people with platforms control too much of it. I mean,
Exactly.
like you said, politicians, courts, media, donors, think tanks, universities, foundations, consultants, not me, but others that consult against us.
Yeah, yeah,
The
Party
algorithm.
machines.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Right.
while I do agree, Dr. Campbell, while I do agree with that, I guess my only other caveat to that is I'm not sure if social media is controlling it as much as just continuing to bring chaos into it,
That part.
because social media has not brought any solutions.
No,
It has
they
helped,
just keep
yeah, it
giving it
has helped
oxygen.
nudge. Yeah, they keep giving it oxygen because it nudges one way, and all of a sudden, you begin to see it. And I mean, I think we're seeing it even now, uh in the ability of social media to really maintain any cohesive movement.
Mm.
It's too volatile. I mean, we're getting to a point now where trying to remember what it was I read this morning, but social media erupted. Oh, um, uh, the actor, and I can't recall his name, who played Dr. King and Selma. There's been this big discussion. The comedian Drewski did a skit about British actors taking African American roles, and uh, a lawyer, I can not remember his last name. He basically, pushed back on it, but black folk got into a tizzy because when they asked a lawyer who is a true African, um, how does he prepare for playing Southern roles, because he was able to get the dialect down so good. And he said basically it's basically a Nigerian dialect slowed down with slavery and subservience added to it.
Mm.
Now, black folk got in a tizzy because he said slavery and subservience as though that is the epitome of the South. And homeboy hurry up and backtrack on the conversation. And so I'm saying, now we got social media not even being able to have honest, open dialogue without buzzwords now. Because we aren't slavery is a buzzword now. Racism has become a buzzword on social media.
Yeah.
It
And
has no
really
context,
service.
has no depth to it. It has no. It had. I mean, yes, it is out there, but you won't find it on social media if you can't say a couple of buzzwords and get somebody hype in under 30 seconds.
That
So
part.
I asked, how they controlling it, how they controlling. I admit they are the ones driving, but I got to ask. I'm still wondering who is controlling, who's handling the emergency because it seems as though it's hands off,
Oh
top
yeah,
down.
they just letting it. They just the roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let the mother sucker burn.
Right.
Period. We don't need no water, especially when the masses of those that did show care, genuine care for the structure that we call democracy or even America. To watch it burn, it's like looking at, you know, your field go through the process of getting ready to be replanted. Farmers burn their field all the time. Some of them burn their crop, especially when it's infected or infested. I'm just saying. Who gonna put me up?
When America says we recognize the harm, but refuses meaningful repair, is that acknowledgement or public relations?
Ooh, girl, I see you bump your toe every time you come up in here. You not gonna move nothing? Yeah, yeah. Like it's public relations. I just, I just want you to know what they giving us, Dr. Campbell, is public
With a
relations.
with a podium, yeah. Mhm.
Barely that. You got to stand there with your binder in your hand and read that flat footed like a prose.
Mm.
So, let's stop playing.
Stop
Especially recognition
pacifying,
with,
yeah.
right, recognition without repair is image management, if you ask me.
That's all it is.
I mean, an apology would obligate without obligation is performance. We see that. We see that already. So,
Because real
again,
acknowledgement changes the back.
stop
Yeah.
playing in our face. A statement without structure is decoration. America, especially many of those that we allow or even claim to lead us, loves to recognize harm after the recognition no longer threatens power. That's what they wait on, especially when in 2020, what, in 2020, 2021, we had to go back and forth about a stolen election that wasn't even stolen. And in 2025, we actually witnessed a stolen election. Oh, I said it. It can recognize slavery is wrong. That's fine. It can recognize Jim Crow as wrong. It can recognize redlining is wrong. Medical abuse is wrong, especially when it comes to Black people having to go to veterinarians of times. It can recognize racial terror as wrong, but recognition becomes cheap. And I mean dirt cheap, especially when it is disconnected from restitution, our restitution. Because if you admit harm but refuse to repair it, what are you really saying? Especially to the people, to me, especially to me, and I'm quite sure many of you out there, that says to, yeah, it happened. Yeah, it was wrong. Yeah, people suffered. Yeah, laws did, damage. Institutions benefited. Yeah, yeah, but we prefer that the descendants absorb the costs. Absorb the cost. That is not acknowledgement. That is a public relations statement with no payment, not even an IOU, not even a rain check. And I'm tired of black people and black pain being used for moral storytelling while black repair is threaded through the eye of a needle or treated like a budgetary threat. If the harm was real, and I mean real enough to confess, then it is real enough to calculate. Should be. If it's real enough to memorialize, then it is real enough to repair. If it's real enough to study, then dang it, it's real enough to settle. Because the country, especially this country, that can put a price on everything from oil spills to bank failures to property damage to contract disputes, cannot suddenly act mathematically confused or incompetent when the injured party is black. The injured community is black. The injured party is indigenous. Make that make sense. Chat question number one. This for y'all, chat. What speaks louder in America? What speaks louder in America? Put a one in the chat for evidence. Put a two in the chat for political power. Put a three in the chat for money. Put a four in the chat for pressure. Absolutely. Drop your number. And, as always, be honest as much as you're willing to share. Because, excuse me, what should speak loudest about what actually speaks loudest are not always the same thing. I just I just want to point that out.
Right.
Y'all want to answer that
Yeah.
chat question?
I I,
What's your
I I
number?
believe if
Yeah,
I
I
put them
will.
in order,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. If I put them in order in terms of what's louder, I mean, first money.
Hmm.
And I say that the book of Ecclesiastes says money answers everything.
Mm. Mm.
The
Mm.
Bible says the
Come on
Bible
here.
says money answers everything.
Come on here, Rimbo.
The next would be
Son.
And
the next
yeah,
would be
I
political
will.
power because
You open.
political power
Hey, you. I don't
seeks
want
the
Mute
power of
yourself,
the
Dr.
land, which
Campbell.
is money.
don't know. You don't want
Mute yourself, Dr. Campbell.
it.
Look, well, look. Let me put Dr. Campbell as number one.
Evidence.
That power speaks.
Correct.
Uh, but then I would say I would put public pressure even before evidence.
Mm.
And when I looked at evidence, the thing that reminded me of was me and my wife always loved watching the movie Life with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And there's a scene when who is it? The warden shoots the new warden that's coming in when they're out shooting ducks,
Yeah.
and Martin Lawrence is saying, well, why won't he just tell them the truth? And Eddie Murphy says, Claude, they don't want to hear the truth. Folk don't want the truth. So when you show evidence, I mean, we've seen it in voting. When you show folk evidence, folk will debate with no evidence on their side.
Correct.
Folk will argue with nothing but a gut feeling. And most of that is from a old hamburger that they ate.
Man, let's get to this round table question.
And
Wait
they
a minute.
argue with you
I want to
about
say my
facts.
order.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so my order would be public pressure, which forces their hand. That's
Mm,
number one. And then political power turns the pressure into law. That's
mm-hmm,
number two. And then number three, money buys the lobbyists or to block or bend it.
mm.
And then evidence, that's just the wrapping paper, useful only if someone with power or pressure decides to unwrap it. On its own, evidence just sits on the shelf collecting dust.
Correct. Correct. I got the degrees on the wall.
Yeah.
Ain't worked a day in my field.
Right.
Come on now.
Roundtable question number one. If proof alone determined justice, what historical wrong would still be unresolved today? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
Every historical wrong there is would still be unresolved today. Slavery, Japanese internment, lynching, forced sterilization, lead poisoning in poor neighborhoods, endless proof for each, still waiting on repair. Proof
Mm,
never closes the case, power does. Evidence just makes the paperwork look nice while you wait.
man, man. I
Mm.
bet y'all wasn't ready for that one. Pierre, you got the floor.
No, I would have to agree, and then say, you know, we see that in the initial lie, and what I call
Mm,
the initial lie. And I mean, if we, if anything could prove along, I believe if we all showed our birth certificate, we would prove the initial lie wrong, and that initial lie is that we the people, in order to form a more perfect union. I mean, we the people
mm.
starts off with a lie. Because I mean, and I say that birth certificate because that birth certificate says that I am at least by the law human, and at least by scientific form, I am considered a Homo sapien, a male.
Mhm.
So how do we resolve we the people when we have proof of the people whose voice has been shut out, the voice of people who uh not been considered a part of justice?
Man,
I mean,
man.
and so I mean, and we won't even begin to go into the amendment
Mm.
Don't you
and
dare.
all
Because
of the
they trying to
wrongs
get rid of
held
that
within
right
the
now while
amendment.
we on this show.
14. Yeah,
They trying to
exactly.
get
I
rid of
mean,
the whole that
we
whole
can look
amendment right
what
now.
now we can start with the Eighth Amendment. Although we could go back to the Fourth. I mean, Eighth Amendment that says you can't be held on these enormous bails, and we see black, brown, underserved in jail for 5 years
Yeah.
on the trial on the trial, which takes us back what to the Sixth Amendment, a speedy trial. You mean I'm in jail
Six
for
years?
6 years? My trial ain't come up. My bail, I ain't got money for bail.
Didn't we have a show not too long
Let's
ago with
start with
our
those.
Yes,
platform host?
yes. Exonerated. after 5 years of
Long
no evidence. Really?
right.
Yeah.
Constitutional rights violated a long time ago. Month
Right.
number 6. Yeah. I mean, for me, y'all, if proof can determine, especially by itself, can determine justice, slavery, repair would not s- still be unresolved. I would say redlining repair would still be, of course, unresolved. Um, let me say this for slavery, because this is another reason why they had to um, do something about it, because many of the what was uh, slaved on property by white hands were being conquered by enslaved black hands. And so, yeah, at an alarming rate, might we add, especially in portions of the mound communities. And that's all over the United States. So you go figure. Now I'll proceed. Environmental racism would not be would not still be unresolved. School segregation, medical abuse. Dr. Campbell points out every election, policing and surveillance, that would not go unresolved. I mean, and she wouldn't have to point it out every time. If those things weren't in place, the proof is there, y'all. The archives are there, the laws are there, the maps are there, wealth gaps are identified and they're there. Um, Property records and how they were manipulated out of black hands are there, especially if your mother of old back in the day grew or was considered to be a social security recipient. They could not have an asset like property in their name. Again, we're talking about women, let alone black women who were inherited property owners. And so, the court cases are there, the government reports are there, testimonies are there, the neighborhoods, old communities are there. Some of the old buildings are not, but the neighborhoods are there. The missing inheritance, again, like I said, is there. So no problem, um, you know, identifying absence of proof or it being there. The problem is absence of obligation. America is not confused about what happened. It has it documented even in its census records.
Mm.
This is why proof alone is not enough. Perry said it. Dr. Campbell said it. The Library of Congress says it. Historical libraries all over your county, cities, and states say it. Historic churches that they didn't burn down, nor the records were destroyed, says it. Evidence must become leverage. History must become demand, y'all. And that demand must become structure, especially structure and the fiber of our communities. That's just what I gotta say. Uh, Question number two. Shot number two. My bad. The business of waiting. Of course, you already know I'm prior service military, so I'm used to waiting. That hurry up and wait. They used to tell us, hurry up and wait. Hurry up, get there so you can wait. Yeah, that's what hurry up and wait means. And I do believe that this country has told the black community, slow down, wait, hold up, wait, for at least 100 years now,
Mm.
at least. Um, because what sounds harmless, what sounds patient, what sounds responsible, or like the process It may be, but for black people in America, weight has been weaponized for courts, Congress, elections. That study we mentioned earlier, a commission in our favor, the right to political, moments, let alone movements. Um, then they always come. The country is divided because of this. The economy is better without it. People are comfortable. We don't have to. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, round two shots, Perry. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Who benefits? Who benefits most from keeping communities trapped in permanent conversations instead of permanent solutions? I would
Uh,
be. I would like to
there's
almost.
two
I
groups.
almost drunk your shot.
Okay.
I almost took
I
it
would
because I
say it's
almost.
two groups.
Go ahead.
Uh, the first one would be the purveyors of pain. That's the people who thrive on the immediate pain. Uh, so when a community decide when there's gentrification, we find out that the immediate purveyors are those who are willing to extract what remaining value there is from the existing land,
Mm,
only to give it up to the true wealth seekers, and those are the ones who will begin to reform the land. And we don't
mm-hmm.
have to look any further than the south end and the north end of Beaumont.
Correct.
Uh, when you begin to look at some of the current landlords, they're not the original landlords. Some of them may even be bank owned or foreign owned, or somebody just looking to make a quick flip. But those are the purveyors of the pain. Who truly gets it are the ones who are now showing their hand, such as the Port of Beaumont taking the south end and
Um,
parts of the north end, because those were they 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 were the ones who put forth the 30-year plan to first drive down costs
Mm,
and then buy for pennies on the dollar. So the purveyors of
mm.
the pain right now, they paying about 50, 60 cents on the dollar and will sell for what they believe to be a bank when really they've sold for coin. And so
Yep.
yeah, we see that over and over again, that the immediate group that enriches itself are usually look like us,
Hmm.
are usually in the same boat as us, but are willing to make some money off of their fellow pain. I mean, they're no different than the drug dealers, and I don't mean the boys on the corner selling,
On the corner.
because those
Right.
are not dealers;
Correct.
those are sellers. That's like going into Foot Locker and the guy selling you your tennis shoes. You're saying that he's the owner. No, he's not. He's a salesman.
Right. Right.
The drug dealers on our corner are salesmen.
For somebody bigger than them, more money than them, more
The
access than
purveyors of
them.
the pain. The purveyors of the pain. Right.
Yeah. Man. We're gonna throw back Dustin shot. What major issues in in American history were solved only after people stopped waiting for permission? Who won it? I will say. almost all the serious ones. Almost all the
Man, too
serious
different.
ones. Nobody handed freedom down because they felt generous. That didn't
No.
come out of generosity. People organized, rebelled, sued, marched, boycott, uh, struck, filed claims, build institutions, disrupt conflict, even in their own alleged communities. Uh, and people made delay more expensive than action. They let them know that your racism is extremely costly. This is how things change, and change happened back then. If it's proof back then, it's definitely proof now. America rarely moves because oppressed people are asking politely. America moves when organized people make inaction costly.
Hmm.
And I see Dr. Campbell rubbing her fingers over there. Like, give me the money. That's all they want. Show me the money. That's the part people forget. Waiting for permission is not strategy. Waiting while organizing can be strategy. But waiting while doing nothing is surrender with manners. And my manners fell out the window a long time ago, especially when you started playing in my face.
So, two major issues in America history that were solved only after people stopped waiting for permission was one was civil rights.
Mm,
Black people didn't wait for polite permission. They
correct.
sat at lunch counters, they marched across bridges and kept showing up until the law had to move. And then the second one would be labor rights. Workers didn't get the 40-hour week by filing general requests. They shut down factories. They risked beatings. They walked
Mm,
off jobs until their bosses had no choice. Permission never came. They just took the floor anyway.
correct. Correct. No permission, no table needed. I'll stand. Don't worry, I'll stand.
That's it.
Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot?
Absolutely.
At what point does a commission become a burial ground for accountability?
The moment it has no deadline, no power to enforce, and no one afraid of its findings. A commission bears accountability when it's told to study the issue for 2 years,
Mm,
write 400 pages, and then hand it to the same people who caused the harm. No subpoenas, no budgets, just recommendations that vanish into a desk drawer. At that point, it's not an investigation, it's an expensive obituary for justice.
I totally agree because I totally agree. Because if the commission has no timeline, no enforcement, no funding path, no public reporting, no,
Your accountability.
regulatory framework, right? And especially no political pressure from the people that it planned on helping, then it can be become a very, very polite graveyard. Yes, indeed. And them bones ain't the ones that you supposed to be speaking to for them to live.
To
I just
live
want you to
again.
know them ain't the dry bones. Them ain't right, Dr. Campbell. Them ain't the ones. A place where truth goes to be archived instead of acted on. That's not them bones. And that's dangerous because people mistaken motion for movement. No, hearings are not repair. Obviously, going to the Supreme Court isn't either.
Mm.
I mean, recommendations are not repair because that's all that the Supreme Court is obviously given, especially if you will go back on your own precedent.
Mm.
You're not making precedent no more. You're making recommendations, and that's not repair. Language is not repair. A commission can be useful if it leads to action, like Dr. Campbell say. But if not, faith without works is dead, baby. I don't care who hand it's in. What's this? The guest shot? Yeah, this is the guest shot. How many generations can government ask people to wait before waiting? Uh, because a form of becomes a form of denial. How many generations can government ask people to wait before waiting becomes a form of denial?
One generation, maybe two, if you're being generous. After that, we're still working on it. We're still working on it. I said, we're still working on it. Just means we never planned to fix it in the first place. Real repair doesn't take a lifetime, it takes political will. The waiting itself is the denial, just dressed up as the process.
I totally agree. The formerly enslaved waited. Their children waited. Their grandchildren waited. Their great grandchildren waited. The great great grandchildren waited.
We
And
still
the
working on
great
it.
great 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 unborn grandchildren is
Still,
still waiting.
we still working on it.
Wow. People waited through Reconstruction betrayal, Jim Crow, redlining, urban renewal, what? School closures and segregation, mass incarceration, environmental racism, voter suppression, voter denial, coercion, voter paid off, voter insecurities, food insecurities, predatory lending. Golly, black people, y'all are some enduring people. We are some enduring people. And every generation gets told now is not the time. At some
No,
point,
no, no, no.
weight
We're still
stops
working on
being
it.
correction. And every generation gets told we still working on it. And at some point that we still working on it stops being patient. It becomes policy, y'all. And that's what we working at now. Individuals throwing policy in our face. And we're not even ready or prepared.
Yeah. In fact, I've quoted all the time. Frederick Douglass says, just how much injustice a people are willing to accept from its government
Correct.
is just how much justice they will get. And so when you begin to have a generation that's born in lack, it's something to energize them to say that there is more and better. Because people, so I mean, we whether it's human psyche, we look for comfort
Mm.
because we know growth hurts.
Mm.
And so, yeah, to say I should get better, some people will say I'm doing good right here,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, I mean, that's how we get to that, Dr. Campbell, of, I mean, when you think about it, it should make all of us shudder that our grandkids are growing up in a government that is more restrictive, where they'll be more surveilled than any in our lifetime,
Yeah.
and without a community of elders and people who look like them or who are their true allies.
Mm. Hold me up,
I
Dr.
mean,
Campbell.
yeah,
How many studies does it take before a study becomes an excuse?
um, one too many, actually, if you ask me. One too many after the truth is already known. You, you done did studies on Henrietta Lacks, who was individuals before my time, and you still trying to figure it out if those genes and capabilities are still within melanated people, and they are. They are. So you go back to the drawing board and you propose more harmful chemicals or remove the regulations that are in place to keep the world safe from harmful chemicals, and you the whole time thinking that you were only affecting those individuals that live adjacent to it. One too many, again, Dr. Campbell, like I said, after the truth is known. Research matters, of course. Documentation, that's what it is. Evidence is what it is. But once the harm is proven, I'm going to say it again. Once these children told people that the president of the United States touched them, you should have believed them. Once these children who turned into adults told the world that the president of the United States raped and or molested them, we should have believed them. How many studies do we need to prove that our president is a pedophile?
Any
How
study
many
after the
studies?
evidence is just a stall tactic.
How many studies do we need to prove slavery extracted, especially wealth? How many studies do we need to provide evidence of redlining, blocking wealth? How many studies do we need to prove segregation shapes schools, land, housing, health, and income? Oh, and let's not forget this trauma we keep talking about and blowing over like it just happened yesterday or something that came after COVID or an effect after COVID. Make that make sense. Study after study after study after study. And at some point, more research is needed. At least that's what they say. So it could become a polite way of saying, we are not ready to pay you country boys nothing. I don't feel comfortable knowing that our US tax dollars will be going to a majority minority enslaved or former enslaved or legacy of the enslaved population. It's people. But we can use your taxpayer dollars for a dirt bike derby and a UFC fight on the front lawn. Mind you, you still need food stamps, and it ain't you Negroes by the goo gobs that need that. Mind you, you still need health aid in any facet or fashion that the government could or was providing. Again, I'm not anti-study, and I'm not anti-study at stall tactics. I see that. I went through that when I was in the military, but I am 100%. Don't play in my face. Tell me it's raining when you pissing on me. If the study does not lead to a remedy, it is not justice. And it's not a study. Like Dr. Campbell said, it's a stall tactic. Check question number 2. What phrase has delayed justice most? Put your number in the chat. Number 1, for more research is needed. Put a 2, for the timing isn't right. Put a 3. The country isn't ready. Put a 4. Let's form a commission. Drop your number. Drop your number. Who at the table gonna respond?
Number 4, let's form a commission. More research at least sounds honest. Timing isn't right. Admits there's a clock. Country isn't
Mm,
ready. Blames the public. But let's form a commission. That's the gold medal in delay. Sounds responsible. Kills momentum instantly. Let everyone go home feeling good.
mm.
By the time the report comes out, nobody remembers, nobody cares, and the people who caused the harm are already retired with pensions. Really? Yeah. Yeah. Form a commission, put a bunch of people in a room together, let them argue about it, and everybody will forget what we was even arguing about.
And then we're gonna form a commission when they get removed or reelected.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and what's even worse is that, I mean, even among the successful commissions, because there have been some,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and what they reported was accurate. What wasn't there was the follow up. I mean,
Mm.
you talk about, yeah, okay, yeah, the commission, right? It does delay, but even when they have put forth commission and their reports have come back with accurate data, it's just been outright denial.
Mm.
Or
Like I
or or
said,
as they or as
But
they say,
when they
let's
was
put this back on mixtape and let's go back to saying we need more research.
when they was
Hold
reaching
on,
for
did
more
we look
data,
at
they
that
was
right?
yeah, they were actually just telling us we don't want to pay for that fix. When they said let's get some more data, they was really just telling us we really don't want to
I
pay
ain't
for that.
paying you country boys nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
I ain't
right,
paying you country boys nothing.
right,
Correct.
Giving you country boys none of my money. I'm gonna
Mhm.
give I'm gonna give. Actually, I'm not giving you country boys none of your money. I'm gonna give your
right.
money to dirt bike divers and UFC people and folks that's willing to fight on the front
And
lawn.
and I'm gonna pay my audience to be there too, because that was all army people there, right?
Just saying.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
that's
I'm
if they
just saying,
got
how much did the
that's
average
if our
taxpayer?
hold on, that's if our military personnel got paid. Because with the looming of federal shutdown, did they get paid? That's my question.
Hmm.
Because whether we realize it or not, as an active duty service member, I cannot receive no gifts from a civilian,
So then
with
they
the
were just they.
exception of a mail package, because that's
Yeah,
specifically for me.
and talk to the servicemen who were deployed and ask them what meals they were served.
Mm, MRE meals ready to eat. Ugh.
It was the meals. Some of our military were served meals that were in some ways the same as they were serving uh deportees, ICE deportees. I kid you not. Same vendor, MREs, no MREs. I mean, it was one guy say he saw worms in his food. I
I'm
kid you not.
saying,
A
I'm saying,
service
I'm
member
saying,
said he saw worms in
yes,
his food.
yes, yes, yes,
After giving them
100%.
steaks before they went out to deploy, because that's always the thing. We gonna feed
Yeah,
you
that's the
right
thing.
before
We're
we
gonna
ship
feed
you
you.
off.
Yeah, we're gonna
So
feed you
yeah, they
right.
were getting lobster and steaks right before they left and walk right into worms.
Maggots. Roundtable question number two is delay sometimes more politically useful than denial? Dr. Campbell, you got the floor.
Absolutely. Denial picks a fight. Delay just runs
Yeah.
out the clock. Denial makes people argue with you. Delay makes people wait for you. And
Mm,
waiting wears people out. So by the time they realize you never plan to act, you've already moved on to the next crisis.
correct.
Denial is the punch. Delay is a slow bleed. And in politics, a slow bleed will win every time.
Every time. Perry, you got the floor.
Mm-hmm. No,
Perry,
He
I'm gonna
say
said,
let Dr. Campbell
mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
have all the flow with that one.
Mm-hmm. I
He
mean,
said,
like,
mm-hmm.
correct, correct. I Perry. And 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 she said it. I ditto.
Right.
I ditto. Because that is avoidance all day, every day. Period. I don't have nothing else to say to that. Hmm. Um, round table, round three. I'm sorry. What is justice worth? What is justice worth? Value, repair, and the fear of accountability is the chaser for this shot. Um, the first shot goes to Dustin, and of course, in his absence, we're gonna definitely turn it up. If government can calculate taxes, debt, penalties, and profits, why does calculating repair suddenly become impossible? Dr. Campbell, you want to answer that? Perry, anybody got something?
Because calculation requires a spreadsheet. The other requires admitting you owe somebody. Tax, taxes, debts, penalties, profits. Those are math problems. Clean, mechanical, no one's feelings gets hurt. But repair, that means saying we took something. That means a number with a name attached, a history attached, a reason to be angry attached. Suddenly, the math gets complicated.
Hmm.
Funny how complications only show up when the bill comes due.
I agree. There's a difference between, all of a sudden, there's a difference between arithmetic and mathematics.
Yeah.
Perry, you had something to say. What you say, Perry? I'm failing science because this addition problem too hard.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Repair changes the power relationship, y'all. I just want to say that. That's why they don't want to repair. It changes the power relationship. Calculation is not the problem, just like Dr. Campbell said. It's a spreadsheet. That's all I already wrote down. You could do it for you and get that information. Accountability is the problem though. If you can calculate a parking ticket, you can calculate harm. If you can tell me how many times I done came in and out of my community, I'm sure you can calculate stolen opportunity. If you can calculate property value and or keep it from increasing, you can calculate land loss. I know it. I know you can. I know you can. I know you can. If we can calculate it, we may have to admit the scale. That's I don't want to admit that I gotta pay you, that I should pay you, or that you are needed to be paid. It's not that it's a lot of you Negroes to be paid. That ain't even the factor. It's just I don't want to pay y'all. Period. No math needed. None. Your baby ugly. Leave me alone. Stop asking me for your money. That's like having somebody borrow. Hey man, let me you loan me $5.6 million, and you got it. You got it, and you loan $5.6 million, and you ask for $100. Hey man, you let me, you loan me $100 from that same person you just gave. And that some gonna become aggravated because you asked them for 100 of your dollars. And I heard a little whisper say, "Oh, they gonna think you just talking about black folk." Now I got white folk that owe me till this day, including your federal government, and I still ain't seen my money. I'm just saying, run me my money, Dr. Campbell. You ready for your shot?
Yeah.
What does it reveal about a nation when compensation depends more on influence than injury?
It reveals that the nation doesn't run on justice, it runs on leverage.
Hmm.
Injury alone gets you sympathy, influence gets you a check. That means the system isn't designed to measure pain, it's designed to measure power. The loudest, richest, or most disruptive get paid. The quiet and poor get a pamphlet. What does that say? That the country values order over fairness every single time.
Not a pamphlet.
A pamphlet. I said that. I said what I said.
Perry, you ready for your shot? Whew. Perry, what historical harm remains unresolved because powerful people benefit from leaving it unresolved?
Um, the harm that remains again, and I go right back to uh the preamble. I mean, in our pursuit of happiness.
That's it, brother.
That I mean, it starts with that harm, because uh we 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 we've somehow associated that wealth means wisdom or is synonymous with wisdom.
Mm.
And so when the powerful and the well connected make decisions at the exclusion. I mean, and I go back to the preamble. The preamble talks about ensure domestic tranquility, promoting general welfare, securing the blessings of liberty
Yes.
and posterity. I mean, to ourselves. I mean, so how do you get to that while at the same time diminishing, delaying, decaying the very fruit and the labor that produces that?
Yeah.
I mean, and so it hurts more for those who have labored more.
Mm.
But the destruction is more of an implosion. I mean, I always say it's as if America is more into showing off a platinum roof at the expense of having a splintered foundation.
On sinking
Your
sand.
foundation is twigs. Your foundation is made up of mud and parts held together. And you've convinced yourself that a platinum roof is the most important piece of this house because it provides covering, and whether we want to call that trickle down economics. We have given it all sorts of names, but we've come to a point where the very foundations, and again, and the Bible says, when the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do?
Yep. Throw up both my hands, shake the dust from my feet.
So again, I think America finds itself in this paradox about its Christian values while straying and not even living up to those values, let alone the values that it put on paper.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Um, the guest question: what standard should exist for all claims of government caused harm, regardless of race, politics, or ideology? Who answering that? Who gonna throw that back? Anybody? I'm getting
One
a chat question ready.
one standard, if the government did it, the government fixes it. No excuses, no deadlines that stretch forever. The same rule should apply for everyone. Don't care if you're rich or poor, left or right, whatever race. You prove harm, they pay the cost. Just like they demand from you if the
Hmm.
tables will turn. No more study, no wrong timing, no commissions that bury the truth. Damage done equals damage repaired, period.
Hmm. I say
Yeah,
damage done equals damage compensated. Don't repair
same,
me,
same.
compensate me. Let me find my own repairman.
Okay,
Uh,
so
who gonna pull me up?
if America paid every community it admits was harmed by government policy, what would that force the country to finally confront about itself?
It's obviously not gonna happen under this administration. But then again, I noticed that this administration is pulling out some of the hidden secrets of white America. Um, no shade to my
Mm,
allies. No shade to my allies in any brand or white you consider yourself, whether you're Asian white, Hispanic white, Mexican white, Italian white, Arab white, African white, I've even seen. So long as you're an ally of mine, I don't mind. But I do know that if that was to happen, Dr. Campbell, it would force America to confront that harm is not an accident in the
correct,
story. It
correct.
would definitely have to fess up to that harm is and was part of how this country built advantage.
Exactly. It was deliberate.
That is the confrontation, though, that they have it within
Mm,
themselves, not us.
mm-mm.
If America paid every community it admits it has harmed by government policy, it would have to admit that budgets and morale are along in the same documents. It would have to admit that wealth did not just grow. Oops. I'm sorry.
It,
Your
it
story of
didn't
your
steal.
dad, the story of your dad making ends meet with $3 doesn't set right here in this country. It
Yeah,
was
it was so.
protected, transferred, extracted, even subsidized, denied, right? I mean, like stolen,
Exactly.
blood stolen.
That's right.
It would have to admit that some people did not become disadvantages by personal failure. They were made vulnerable by public design. I did 100%. The poor uh, are here because labor was stolen, land was taken, Loans were denied, schools underfunded, or books not even available at all. It chose who it could own. This country chose who it could own, who it could borrow, who could build, who could vote, who could live here freely in access to what Perry just said, the preamble of the United States. And if America paid what it admits, it
Mm,
would have to stop pretending that the present is disconnected from the past.
mm.
I'm just saying. Chat. Uh, last question. Which is harder? What is harder? Admit. Put it in the chat. Put your number in the chat. Is it admitting harm? Is it two, measuring harm? Is it three, paying for harm? Or is it four, the system that caused it? Drop your number in the chat. What you say, table?
Changing the system that caused it. Because admitting
Mm,
harm takes a speech, measuring harm takes a spreadsheet, paying for harm takes a budget. But changing
I'm
the
just saying.
system, that means giving up the power, rerouting the money, firing people who've been doing this for decades,
Mm,
and telling the next generation they can't have the same unfair advantages. That's not a line item. That's a whole new way of doing business. And
I
that's
want you to
why
know.
almost no one ever does it.
I just want you to know. Dr. Campbell, give us something
Mhm.
that's gonna wrap us up for the rest of the week. Perry, you follow, and then I will close us out.
Oh, we're not gonna do the roundtable question?
Not
Okay.
the third one. It's we
Oh,
are hour and 41 in.
okay. Let's see here. Okay. So, they don't need more studies. They didn't they needed more courage. And at some point we're still looking into it just means we're never doing it. Never forget that. So post that everywhere. People are tired of waiting on committees to pretend they care and get to work.
Yes.
Pull
Perry, you
your
got the
own
floor.
seat up to the table.
Or stand up. F
Mm,
the table. F the table
mm.
altogether. You could have it because I stand in the room of royalty. I stand in the authority that I made. Okay, go ahead. My bad. You got it, Perry. Go
Uh,
ahead.
my word for the week, and I saw this today, and it made me think. Your theology should enlighten you. It shouldn't limit what you believe.
That's because some folks in a cult, bro, they don't know it. They not even in align with theologians.
Mm.
Right,
That's a
and,
cult.
and I say that because this week there were four Muslims who showed up at the Texas GOP convention in Houston. Devout Muslims and devout Republicans. They were Republicans primarily on the issues of pornography, abortion, uh, alcohol, because that's what their theology warned them against.
Not owning all the liquor stores in my neighborhood.
But I say that because we do have some blood bought Christians who believe along those same political lines, they've aligned their doctrine to some political entity that does not even promote it. They're promoting more about what Republicans stand for than elected Republicans. Some may spout it, but if you look at their history, you'll see they don't believe it.
Mm, mm. Just saying.
And I bring that up because those four Muslims they were there for legitimate purposes. The GOP thought that they were there to be protesters because in Texas, Sharia law and Muslims is the latest buzzword, and that buzzword is a boogeyman. And two of these Muslims were delegates. And them Republicans put their ass out, and a pastor told them they need to get their ass out the country. A Southern Baptist pastor told them, and those folk openly wept.
Bro.
And it would be easy to say, I told you so. But
They didn't know.
They knew because they were
yeah,
once.
but don't let
They
your
were once
theology
pushing
lead
the
you in some dark
Democrats.
holes.
Man. Especially when we're gonna take you on the back end. My word for the week is obligation. Because that is what America keeps trying to dodge from everybody, not just Black America, but everybody. Obligation. I want to acknowledge harm um, that's happening to us without obligation. And I want to uh, let people know that this country is doing it without apology. No apologies needed. This country wants to memorialize without obligation. It wants to quote pain or exploit pain without obligation. It wants to teach our history without obligation. But justice by itself begins when harm creates obligation. And if harm does not create obligation, then what are we even calling justice?
Mm.
That's my word. Obligation. Family, tonight was not about begging. I just definitely want to confirm that and let our listeners and viewers and those that may come through our timeline later on to comment. This was not about begging. It was a forensic audit, a moral audit, a political audit, a financial audit by every means. By the end of this show tonight, I pray somebody sees that America does not have a money problem. America definitely has a priority problem. I pray somebody understands that procedure is not justice. Paperwork is not justice. A commission, even, is not justice. It may be a move toward it, a few steps toward it, but it's not justice. Justice is outcome. Justice is repair. Justice is changed structure. 100%. I pray somebody understands that delay can become denial. That waiting can become a weapon, especially when you know you have unresolved harm created in your community by these things. And that unresolved harm can become an industry. I want people to know that some people profit more from managing injustice than ending it. Realize that. This episode does not ask who deserves the check, what question is too small to ask by itself. But I definitely want you to know this episode asks who taught America that some harms created obligations while other harms create paperwork? Who owns the authority to decide whose pain counts? Whose pain gets compensated? Who gets ignored and who gets rich? Deciding the difference on all of it. Let us understand three different things that we need to have in this thing. Stop letting people turn proven harm into endless conversation, because if the harm is proven, demand is already there. Number two, follow the marketplace. Who is getting paid to discuss the problems of the people? Who's getting grants? Who's getting contracts? Who's getting elected? Who's getting promoted? And is the harm community getting repaired or just studied again? Number three, build leverage. Hold on to that leverage. Remove one of the leverage pieces. I will tell the city of Beaumont community, especially to avoid bankruptcy, is come out from the ordinance that gives the fire department leverage in your EMS, because it's costing us gravely. Evidence without leverage gets filled. That evidence is already proven. Evidence without leverage gets heard. Evidence with with organized power can force obligation. I just want you to know it. The proof is in the pudding as to why the city of Beaumont is going broke. And the proof is in the pudding as to why African Americans across this country for generations are still waiting on a country to apologize and compensate the trauma and drama and pain that it still receives revenue from till this day. Don't just demand repair, build the power to make repair unavoidable. To my co-hosts, Dr. Campbell, Perry, and Dustin in his absence, thank you for bringing your power, your energy, your minds, your fire, and your honesty to this table. To our guests tonight, on all platforms, thank you for sitting with the conversation that refuses to reduce justice to just sympathy, right? This is episode 65, The Cost of Being Wronged. Until next time, follow the money. Question every delay. Reject empty recognition and demand obligation. And never let anybody, and I do mean nobody, convince you that patience is payment. And as always, stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. Thank y'all for watching. God bless. Good night.